Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. Bonjour, bonsoir. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you may be. Jay Slater case. Is it the Jay Slater case? I think it's video 5 of the day. So, yeah, getting a bit confused with what I'm doing in the next few videos. Yeah, Jay Slater case. So this one, an up-to-date one because it is a news report that I have just seen from the Daily Mirror. And I will read the whole thing through because it gives us some valuable information into what is happening in Debbie Duncan's world. You can see from chosen background of the day, it does indeed have Debbie Duncan there. And Buster makes a reappearance. In a previous video, I just talked about how key decisions alter people's lives irrevocably. And Judge Parry, when he did not give, absolutely refused to give a custodial sentence to Jay, changed Jay's life forever. I mean, Jay ended up dead. And just saying, Buster here, Buster did his best to stop Jay going traveling to Tenerife by, as Debbie told us, gobbling up the first passport that arrived. I mean, in the fullness of time, we can say it's just a shame Buster did not gobble up the second passport too. But there we go. That's how it went. So this article from the Daily Mirror, I believe it is. And let's see here what the headline is. As always, a link to the article will be put in the description of the video. So you can read this as and when you want. Daily Mirror, just checking the date. The date would be June 9th. Indeed, it is today. And the journalist is Hannah Britt, deputy features editor. Hannah Britt. I'm pretty sure I wrote to Hannah Britt when the intervention from the Daily Mirror to Google got my YouTube account removed. So I think I've already written to Hannah Britt, but I think I might write to her again after this one because as I read it through, you'll find out that Hannah Britt is throwing out misinformation there. Yeah, can you imagine that? From the Mirror, misinformation. Jay Slater's mum, Debbie Duncan, is the headline. It's been 2 years. Debbie Duncan is saying this. It's been 2 years. It gets harder. Exclusive. The heartbroken mother of Jay Slater has opened up about spraying her son's aftershave and sleeping in his bed as she prepares for the agonizing anniversary of his death, which falls on the exact day England kick off their World Cup campaign. So if you were not aware that the World Cup starts in the next few days, let me consult my calendar here. World Cup starts on the 11th, on Thursday, day after tomorrow. England's first game, I didn't know that. England's first game is the 17th, the day that Jay Slater disappeared 2 years ago, 2024. Just a second. Let me go back to that page there. I've lost it again. I've lost it again. When England play their opening match of the World Cup on June 17th, it will be a bittersweet moment for mum, Debbie Duncan. The second anniversary of her son Jay Slater's death during a trip to Tenerife when they last spoke on June 16, 2024, he said he was going to watch England play Serbia in Euro 24, a game they won 1-0. And those of you that have followed assiduously the Jay Slater case, you'll know that that's exactly right. When the gang went to, I think it was Sugar Reefs, that was the first England game in the Euros. Serbia 1-0. And yeah, it was interesting because even then, Jay didn't watch the whole game, I don't think. He had disappeared. Went to do something, and at 9:14 was dealing with his money problems. His payment didn't go through. But anyway, I digress. Debbie 57 says, age 57, Debbie now, 57 years old, says, I don't know how I'm going to feel, really. It will be strange. He told me, I'm not going mad today, Mum. England were playing. He said, I'm going to go and watch football. We are going for food. Obviously, things just got carried away in the moment he had a drink. And you talk about understatement. When you hear Josh Forshaw, sorry, I'm breaking off here. When you hear Josh Forshaw mentioning the 10 or 15 vodka shots, and Debbie says, yeah, things got carried away in the moment he had a drink. You know, Debbie's one of those giving us a totally underwhelming example of aspects of Jay's life. She just can't bring herself to be honest about what Jay was like. Let's go back to the article. I sit and question, what were you thinking? But you can't change anything. Jay is not coming back. On the first anniversary of 19-year-old Jay's death, Debbie and her family returned to Tenerife. This year will be low-key, taking flowers to the cemetery and spending time with loved ones. She says this year it feels more real. Some of his friends will come to the cemetery. There's a pub over the road that does food, and we'll get some tea. Okay. Jay was on his first holiday without his parents, attending a music festival when he went missing on June 17, but it took 29 days for his body to be found on 15th of July. Are you listening to this, Chris Pennington? His body was found on the 15th of July, not on the 13th, not on the 14th, but on the 15th. If the Mirror says so, Chris Pennington, you must be wrong and the Mirror must be right. I digress. He'd suffered a catastrophic fall on his way back to his accommodation after a night out and was found in the Juan Lopez Ravine, know it well, in the Masca area. Speaking from the family home in Oswald Twistle, Lancashire, Debbie, who has another son, Zach, 26, says, I can't believe it's 2 years. It seems to get harder. Nuzzled at Debbie's feet is Buster, Jay's French bulldog. She says, I'd be lost without him. Jay went mad for this puppy, and we gave it to him. He's a nuisance, but he's also sometimes the reason I get out of bed in the morning. In Jay's bedroom, Buster curls up on the bed. Debbie says, I drive past the cemetery and down where he used to play football. His primary school is just across there, across the field. All across town, there are still the blue ribbons we tied up in his memory. They're a little faded. One day they'll be gone, but they bring me comfort. Looking around Jay's room, tears catch in Debbie's throat. She says softly, I sit in his room and smell his things, spray his aftershave and lie on his bed. I slept in here with Buster at the weekend. You want his smell to last forever, but it's not going to, is it? No, it's not, Debbie. Debbie redecorated Jay's room in the 3-bed semi after his death, something she did specifically for him, and has kept all his things. She says, I promised I'd redecorate his room and planned to make a start while he was in Tenerife. I've got Jay's phone too. I try to make sure it's always charged. I sit with it, and his memories will come up on his social media. I sit with it, and his memories will come up on his social media. Okay, I get that, yeah. I laugh at his daft little videos, then cry at what a good-looking boy he was. I think, what a waste. Indeed, Debbie, what a waste. What a waste. 10 to 15 vodka shots, the toxicology report, the friends that never went to help Jay. What a waste. Jay would have turned 21 a few weeks back, and that was really hard. I try to keep busy. I've got Zach to think of. Spending time with him keeps my mind off Jay being gone. Full of what ifs, Debbie continues, I've been through every emotion. I get angry with myself. Why did I not ring him that morning? Good question. Why did Debbie not ring Jay that morning? Second good question, which is not asked here, why did Jay not ring Debbie that morning? But the best therapy for Debbie's pain is spending time with Jay's friends. One is Lucy Law, the last person to speak to Jay before he disappeared. She was in Tenerife with him and their pal, Brad Hargreaves. Lucy received a final phone call from Jay saying he was lost, dehydrated, had a cut on his leg, and his phone battery was dying. Debbie felt angry with Lucy, at first, but soon realized she'd been a loyal friend to Jay. Plagued by horrendous trolling since Jay went missing, as conspiracy theorists spread online bile, Debbie explains, we, she and Lucy, kind of stayed away from each other. But after a bit of time, we got back in touch, and she told me things that I didn't know. Oh, I wonder if those are things that we don't know. Could be. The conspiracy theorists ask why she reported Jay missing as soon as she did. They thought it was suspicious. But she did the right thing. She said, "My friend's gone missing. I want you to go and look for him. I've just had this phone call. It's cut off. He's hurt himself. He has no signal. He is lost. He doesn't know where he is." I won't go into this, but Debbie, Lucy did know where he was. Even if you accept the argument, Debbie, that Jay did not know where he was, Lucy did. So Lucy's words, "he is lost, he does not know where he is," might be literally true. But the point, Debbie, is Lucy did know where he was. Lucy told emergency services that Jay needed rescuing. By the way, Debbie, let me interject here. Lucy also told the authorities, the police officers at ECOD, that she spent the night with Jay at the Airbnb. Did you know that? Maybe not. Debbie continues, "I listened to the calls to the emergency services, listening to how distressed she was. It was horrible. She was a kid at the end of the day. I wouldn't have known what to do at 18. We're seeing each other in a few days. I think Jay would approve that we're friends." Taking a break from work, Debbie lost her job as a high school finance officer after vile harassment from tragedy trolls who made more than 300 million videos relating to her son triggered a nervous breakdown. I've already said this, but I disagree. I would think the nervous breakdown was triggered by Debbie trying to hide the truth. That's just my opinion. Now she's throwing herself into campaigning for Jay's Law in a bid to stamp out tragedy trolling. She wants social media platforms to be legally required to immediately remove organized misinformation and speculative malicious content aimed at grieving families. She says, "Whatever I did or said was ripped to pieces. Trolls said Jay must have had a really bad upbringing." Yeah, well, to be honest, Debbie, it's a lot of what you didn't say, your silence, I think, contributed to being ripped apart. And it was your refusal, absolute refusal, to summon Jay's friends to the inquest that ripped you apart. There's 101 things that ripped you apart, Debbie. It's not really what you said or didn't say. If we get specific, we can tell you exactly what you said and didn't say that was key in getting you ripped apart. And as for Jay's upbringing, well, yeah, from what I see, that's exactly right. His upbringing was pretty darn bad. I don't think there are a whole lot of 19-year-olds globally that end up dead at the bottom of a ravine just by pure accident. I think the upbringing was key, was absolutely key to what happened to Jay. When the Mirror got one of Debbie's trolls removed from YouTube earlier this year, they just started a new account on a different platform the next day. Okay, here's the misinformation, because I am that troll. Yeah. Mirror got me removed. Well, at least they confess that they don't believe in the law of the land. Yeah, it's just applying a bit of pressure, Yeah, behind the scenes pressure to YouTube is how we decide free speech in this country. But it's not true, is it? It's not true at all. I didn't just start a new account on a different platform. On TikTok, I think the clue is in the title of the channel. It is Duncan Smith 2025. So it wasn't a new account, been going for a year or so. So there we go. Hannah Britt, if you ever decide to get your information right, just let me know. I can help you. But Debbie remains optimistic about social media reform, saying, "We've met with the government, we've met with Ofcom. They're making the right noises." Okay, they're making the right noises. Are they? But things need to change and fast, Debbie says, with each reported tragedy. The same trolls swoop in, bombarding families with bile on social media, she adds. It's incredibly hurtful to be on the receiving end of that. Yeah, I would imagine it could be incredibly hurtful when you're not revealing the truth, telling the truth, being open and transparent. Debbie, I think it can be hurtful. But that's due to your approach to this, not to ours, I would say. One conspiracy theory does keep Debbie awake at night. Only one? Wow. It involves a video posted of Jay boasting about stealing a £12,000 watch off someone in the hours before his death. The inquest found that while he took ecstasy and cocaine before he went missing, Jay did not steal a Rolex watch. Debbie says, why did he say those things in the video? I don't have an answer. One day, when my life is over and I see Jay again, I'll ask him. Until then, knowing won't bring him back. I've let it go. Okay, just a quick question, Debbie. What makes you think it was Jay saying those things? You say, why did he say those things in the video? What makes you think it was Jay saying those things? This is all texting. This is all messaging. He's not recorded his voice and put that out there. What makes you think, Debbie, that it's Jay doing all this, saying stole a watch, post to the WhatsApp group? Don't know. What makes you think that? Jay was a 14-hour walk away from his accommodation when he set off on foot. The coroner concluded his death was accidental after he fell down a ravine. Debbie says, I don't think he realized just how far away he was. He must have been petrified in his final moments. I can't bring myself to think about it. Yeah, I would agree. Jay probably was petrified in his final moments. I would just say, Debbie, that his final moments weren't walking down that ravine. But going back to Tenerife on the first anniversary of Jay's death was cathartic, she says. Really? Do you think Debbie knows the word cathartic, or is that a Hannah Britt word? Cathartic. The family went back out and put some flowers near where Jay was found. Recalling how excited Jay was about going to Tenerife, she adds, I'll go back again and again to Masca. It's a beautiful place. Wow, that surprises me. I'll go back again and again to Masca. It's a beautiful place. A government spokesperson told the Mirror that under the Online Safety Act, anyone making violent threats online could face up to 5 years in prison. Well, good job no one I know makes any violent threats online. Wow, yeah. Yeah, any of those violent threats made online, I would imagine 5-year prison sentence. What kind of violent threats would it be, do you think? Things involving a machete or a golf club or a knife, that kind of violence? I don't know. They added the vile harassment some people face online is completely unacceptable. And we pay tribute to Debbie Duncan and other parents campaigning to bring this to an end. There we go. Bring what to an end? Free speech? Those of us that are saying that we have not been told the truth in this matter? Is that what you want to bring to an end? All right. As I say, this one I think should be read by your good selves at your leisure whenever you want, but there's a lot in there. Debbie, Jay's law is dead. Absolutely. It's going nowhere. Nothing's happening with it. The powers that be don't want it. They don't want to deal with this. So that's just my word of advice for you. Focus your energy and the money you've got from the GoFundMe, focus it on something else that's beneficial to mankind in general, not to targeting people that are just trying to get to the truth, and just accept the reality. Jay's law petition is dead. Hasta luego, adios, hasta la vista, see you next time.